Hello, welcome to Geeks and Niche. This episode 101. I'm Mark.
I'm Jasmin.
That really threw me off then. I literally was like 99, 99. I was like,
Yeah.
no, no.
101, and we're still
Yeah.
here. We're still here. You can't get rid of us.
Yeah. They won't take us. They won't take us down.
All right. So if you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. We would really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you know when we upload new episodes. And if you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate that as well. We would also love it if you would give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Google, or Spotify.
We'd also love it if you would give us all your money.
Or some of it, not all of it. I mean, we're not tyrannical. Just a little bit'll do.
just a couple of mil.
Yeah. Just a few bucks here and there. Come on, guys.
that yacht isn't going to buy itself.
Exactly.
No, seriously, just buy us a comic or a cup of tea or a coffee. Apparently, you Americans like coffee.
Coffee is delicious. And I'm sure that more than just Americans like coffee. That I can confirm.
I don't like coffee.
Well, you are weird.
I don't like the smell, the taste.
What? Oh my God, I love the smell.
I mean, like, to be fair, I haven't had a coffee in like 20, 25 years. But I think I tried it once when I was like 18 or 19. I was like, no, this is not for me.
I love coffee. I switched to decaf about a year ago, but I still drink quite a bit of decaf coffee. I just love the flavor.
I like tea.
I drink iced tea.
I've never had that. Unfortunately, fizzy drinks, but that is part of my regime now to work that out and get rid. So.
Well, I mean, you could still have fizzy water.
Yeah, I'd probably move to that. So I'm trying to move more to water.
Yeah.
So
got to.
Yeah, I've got a step like Coke, fizzy water, then just water.
So, yeah.
I think if I was going to do fizzy water, that'd have to be flavored.
I've gotten used to plain. Topo Chico is my favorite. It's a Mexican fizzy water that is readily available here. So
I don't know about that. Or just normal tap water probably is the way to go. So okay, I'm gonna set myself a goal really over the next week. I think over the next week I'm gonna try and move to just diet or max or zero, whatever. And then I think after that, then I need to phase to maybe fizzy water and then water.
Yeah,
it's a step. The energy drinks I have been cutting out. I've like really reduced those because they are obviously not good for you and should really not be allowed to be sold. And so there was a point where I'd have like 4 or 5 energy drinks a day.
Like, then gosh.
I know. I got down to 1 a day. Like
no wonder you're so okay with staying up all hours of the night.
Oh, I don't have them now. I don't have that many now. Like now, I've got it down to like 1 or 2 energy drinks a week now. Like so.
Okay.
I had one yesterday, not today. But I'm just gonna try and get through literally now ongoing without one. So I'm going to allow myself like 1 slip up this week if I need to, but then it's got to be gone now. Energy drinks are not good.
You gotta start slow. Don't take everything away at one time.
That's what I mean. I tried.
Yeah.
So last week I tried starting the week with taking away everything, and then I realized that wasn't going to work. So if I needed some sugar, I went and got just a can of Coke rather than a whole bottle. But I have got the odd bottle here and there this week, or the last 7 days. But I thought just work it out. I thought if I can get rid of the energy drinks altogether this week, then we'll work on the other fizzy drinks next week.
Yeah. So, yep. You can't take everything. Start small and just like work your way down the hill. That's all you gotta do.
I'm in my 40s now. I'm not going to live forever. So as the song goes. So anyway. Gonna move on to the catch-up bit. I know you haven't really caught up on much, so we're gonna talk about a trailer in a minute, but we'll talk about the one thing I have watched all of. Netflix's The Watcher. So 7 episodes dropped the other day. I watched them all within about 2 days. I did start watching. I'll come back to The Watcher. I did start watching Narcos this week. Watched the first 3 episodes. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I haven't watched enough to form an opinion. But I watched all of The Watcher within like 48 hours, and it was, what I would say is, it was addictive. It was well written. I loved where it was set. I loved all of the setting, the houses. I've always thought to myself, as a British man, how if I was going to live in America, I'd love to live somewhere like this with these huge houses. They did say the price of this house though is 3 million, which, if it was 3 million in New Jersey, it's probably like 5 million over here.
Yeah.
And so I always say houses
right in your budget, right?
Oh, I've got 4 of them already. Yeah. And one for each season of the year. So it's yeah, the setting's really nice. I did think the acting was good. I loved the sort of the switcheroos that they kept doing. Is it this person? Is it that person? It was, the misdirection was great. It was a typical binge watch show. The addiction was there. You like literally next episode. Like wanted to get on. But I think actually I've got a feeling I watched all 6 episodes on Saturday, and then I watched the 7th one on Sunday. And so what I looked it up. The Watcher is based off a real event. The only thing
That's
I believe,
disturbing.
Yeah, so this is a dramatized version where 90% of it is made up. Maybe even 95% of it's made up. The only thing they actually kept was true was the letters and the address, which I feel sorry for the real occupants of 657 Boulevard in New Jersey, because I'm sure they're going to get a lot of mail soon. So if they have not started getting mail, I am assuming it's probably on its way, and a lot of tourism for their house.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the same house. It's just the address they kept. I'd be fuming if I owned that house.
Oh yeah.
I'm honestly, I think within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to start seeing articles of the owners who are just sick of all the people showing up and all.
Oh yeah, it happened with Breaking Bad. They used to go and throw pizzas on the roof of the house that was used in the show, but like it's an actual house. Can you imagine? Like you wake up and you're like going to work and this freaking pizza's like falling off the roof of your house. Like I'd be pissed.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually do remember that. How annoying must that be? Like, come out in the morning, like your driveway, and your roof is covered in pieces.
Yeah.
Not again.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to say to AMC, look, just gonna have to send me like a monthly budget to clean my roof. Gonna have to agree terms now.
Yeah. Also, we gotta do something.
Also, like when you go to sell your house, like other than the pizza throw-in, it's a nice house, nice neighborhood.
How do you keep that out of the report?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
lovely neighborhood, quiet street, pizzas on the roof occasionally. Other than that,
if you're hungry, you always know where to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Watcher. So the real event, the article I read was that these owners bought this house, and then before they moved in, they were getting it renovated, and then these 2 weird, creepy letters showed up, and then that put them off moving in.
What makes the letters creepy though?
So in the TV series, the letters were the first letter. Actually, their daughter opens the first letter, and it says, "Oh, dear." The owners of 657 Boulevard. I am the current watcher of the house. My father watched the house before, and my grandfather. I am the current custodian of 657 Boulevard. Something along the lines of, do you know the secrets of your house? Do you know what's hidden in the walls? Have you been in the basement?
Oh,
do they know what's happening in the basement? Blah blah blah, whatever. And all this kind of thing. Like, I don't know your names yet, but I'll get to know you. And then like more and more letters arrive in the TV series that say things like, I now know your names. I know this, I know that. Like, and then it's saying, then it says something like, greed brought you here, as it did all the previous owners. But the letters obviously start to like play with their minds as well, like, and it starts to cause division within their families and within the family and all the kind. And also, like, I'll spoil it now here. The show does not get resolved. you do not find out who wrote the bloody letters. And now in real life, people never found out who wrote the bloody letters, and there was only 3 letters. So to come back to the real event, the owners never moved in because of these 2 weird letters arrived. Now I don't know what they said in real life. So they decided to rent their house out, the real owners. And then the tenants, I think, got a letter, and so the tenants were like, no, like, we don't like this. So they only agreed to stay if the owners put up cameras all around the house, on like on the outside and stuff like that. And so I don't know who owns it now. But yeah, so
see, this is why like I cannot do basements. Basements, that is like an East Coast thing and a Midwest thing. Like that is not a thing we have down here because my city is below sea level anyway. But like nothing good happens in a basement. Basements are so creepy.
Oh no, do you know what? Like, so I haven't gone and ever viewed a house with a basement, but I was considering earlier in the year selling our house and buying I saw a couple of townhouses that I really like the look of, and they had basements, but the basements were so cool. Like I saw that me and my girls, we saw this house with a basement, and the basement was like converted into like a cinema room / pub. And I was like, I want that house. I was like, I want that house. I was like, how cool is that to have a cinema room / pub in your basement? Like, and it was not creepy in any way, shape, or form. And I imagine though, because it was a small house. Because it was a small
wait till you start getting your letters.
Oh God, no. Like, but I now also think like a show like that, you know, nut jobs will watch that show and think, I'm going to do this to somebody. Like, and but yeah, there's so much misdirection, and so the show ends with no revelation of who it is. And so the owners of the house that you follow throughout the show, they eventually do sell. But it stays with them. Like the dad can't get over it. Like he just can't, you know, because obviously they got tormented. I don't know how long they were in there. A year, I don't know. And but they just, obviously it gets to him so much about these regular letters of who sends them and all the rest of it. And like, I mean, even his wife says, you know, you've just got to move past it. And even that he has therapy, and they say, like, you've got to move past it. But yeah, how, you know, I get it. Like, it's difficult, but sometimes you just got to put it to bed. Like, and
it's easier said than done.
No, I know. I've never had nut job letters arrive at my house every week. But
is that the bar? Like, oh, I'm totally normal. I've never had anyone send me a creepy letter ever.
Yeah, I've never had that. I mean, look, you know, everyone's had the odd prank call received or whatever, but
I have definitely gotten very weird letters. I get letters all the time in different languages that are definitely addressed to me. And it's like, I got a letter maybe like a month ago that was written in a language that I have physically never seen before in my life. I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, this does not even look familiar at all to me.
Oh, you've been serious?
Yes, I am.
Well, they arrive regularly.
Yeah, and I also get and this one I think it's because of my last name, but I also get a lot of letters in Arabic. Now, I do not speak Arabic. I don't know why anyone would send me a letter in Arabic, but there was one time when I was in college, I got a 6-page handwritten front and back letter in Arabic. And I was like, I don't even.
You think it's just addressed to the wrong person? Like,
absolutely not. It was addressed to me.
No, but I mean, did you not go and get it translated then?
No. Who knows? Maybe they were watchers, and I just never translated the letters, and I have no idea.
Maybe it's a good thing you didn't get it translated. Like, dear Jasmin, we watch you walk the halls.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been something crazy like that. So like, it happens. Like, I again don't know how they get the address, but like, it has happened to me getting very odd letters in the mail.
What, you think it's the same person?
No, I don't think it's the same person. Well, I did not think it was the same person until you brought it up just now. Oh God, what if it is the same person? Now I'm freaking out. Do I have lights on? I need to turn more lights on.
Like the same person over like the last 15 years.
Oh my God, don't say it. Stop talking. Let's talk about something else now.
You've never mentioned this before ever. So like,
I mean, but we never ever talked about getting creepy letters in the mail before. So
no, I know.
It's not like, hey, how's it going? Great Sunday. By the way, creepy letters. Let me tell you a story.
Oh.
The next time I get one, I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna send it to you.
No, I'm okay.
I'm gonna send it to you, and that way you can translate it if you want, and then you tell me what it says.
Okay. Well, what? How often do they come?
So most recently, I've gotten 2 this year.
And you don't think they're the same person?
I mean, it could be. They have different postmarks, so they're not being sent from the same place.
This is so weird.
I mean, I just tell myself it's spam.
Away? Do you just throw them away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm going to see how I can like translate one if I get another one. We'll see.
You should definitely watch this TV show. This
is
right up your street.
Absolutely not. That is exactly why I'm not going to watch this TV show.
At least you live in an apartment block.
I mean, that never stopped. In college, that I got that letter at an apartment complex. So
this is what, like, when I watched this show, like, so from like age 10 to like 27, I lived at my parents' house, the second house I ever lived in. Like, it was a huge house, like raised off the ground. It was like it was raised because we were not far from the Thames, and it was built. The house was like 100 years old, and so it was built after like one of these floods that happened where the water had risen up from the Thames. But literally, you could go all around my house. We had an alleyway on the side of the house, and then a huge drive. So you could literally go from the road, walk it straight into my back garden, and like that was fine in the day. But like at night, I used to hate it. Like, it was so horrible and creepy. Like, I used to hate. I like to go outside. Like, if we ever had to say, I don't know, go out the back door, honestly, it was horrible. Like, I used to hate it. Or sometimes at night, like, if I was going to bed, I would obviously have to make sure the doors were locked, especially if my parents were away. Like, I would really hate it if I went into the kitchen to check the back door and it had been unlocked like all night, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like it's literally somebody from the road could have walked into the garden, into the kitchen, like, and but yeah, so like, just yeah, I never want to live in a place where somebody can just walk into your garden from the road. Like,
yeah. Well, you got to be careful because you're in the garage tonight, so you got to walk out of the garage to get back to the house.
Shut up. Well, anyway, let's talk about Quantumania.
There, subject change. All right. Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania trailer.
I think I'm sleeping in the garage now. Anyway,
oh man.
We both watched the Quantumania trailer. Go on, you tell me what you think.
I don't know. Ant-Man has never really been like a Ant-Man like kind of thing for me. So I'm gonna watch it because it's in the MCU sequence, but the trailer doesn't really do much for me.
No, me neither. I mean, look, I like Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I think I would actually love to have drinks with Paul Rudd.
Oh yes. Absolutely.
I would love to go out, have drinks with him, be his best mate.
Yeah.
Send him spam. Send him letters. And he'd probably take it quite well.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't think anybody would take it that well. In fact, I'm going to see if I still have your address. And if I still have your address, I'm going to send you a creepy letter.
I probably didn't. Anyway. So Paul Rudd, I liked that it was sort of the humor was there in the trailer, that somebody called him Spider-Man.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
Yeah, and like that must be annoying. Like,
yes.
I wonder how many, because you hear about celebrities like Thandie Newton getting recognised as oh crap, I forget her name. The girl from Guardians of the Galaxy plays Gamora.
Zoe Saldana?
Yeah. So I remember hearing Thandie Newton say that she often gets recognized as Zoe Saldana, and like she said, obviously she's not bothered because she said obviously, she said she's beautiful, etc.
and younger.
Like, and she said it doesn't bother her. But I equally think like it must bother some celebrities.
Yes,
like
I have a story about that too. So like you've probably never seen this. Have you ever seen Doogie Howser, MD?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Okay, so before Neil Patrick Harris became like the infamous like NPH, when he was still like shaking off the Doogie Howser like part. So my cousin lived in well, they still do. They've lived in Los Angeles for a long time. And he was like, me and my buddies were at a bar one night and Neil Patrick Harris walked in and we were all so drunk. We all turned around and yelled, Doogie! And like they just taunted him and called him Doogie all night while they were at the bar. And I was like, you guys are assholes.
Did they take it well or not?
No. He did not appreciate it. He didn't stay very long.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So I think like some people take it in stride and some people are like, oh, haha, so funny. So funny.
Oh, that is funny. I would find that funny. Like if I was there, I would probably do what your friends did. Definitely if I was drunk, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
I would definitely could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
I might say after a while, leave him alone. I might actually say, do you want to come join us? Probably what I'd say.
Yeah, he would probably be like, no thanks.
I'd be like, come on, Doogie, I'll buy you a beer. Oh, yeah. I haven't been out drinking for a while. Makes me want to go out again.
Okay, just don't make fun of celebrities when you go out, okay?
I mean, not likely to run into many celebrities, but yeah. So, yeah. So I have seen the odd one in London. In fact, actually, pretty much. I walked past. I walked past one morning. Oh, I forget his name. One morning it was like 8 a.m. I actually can't believe I walked past him. I was so tired. Oh, what's the guy in the new Harry Potter? Not the Fantastic Beasts film.
Eddie Redmayne?
No, the guy who was the villain. Mid something. What's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah. He walked
you
past me.
Walked by Mads Mikkelsen on the street?
Yeah. Like it was like 8 a.m. Like it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was outside. I was walking. I was in Windsor, literally right next to Windsor Castle, and he walks past me at like 8 a.m. And I remember I was with a colleague from work, and we walked, and he didn't even recognize him. Like, and I like we walked past, and it took me like a minute or two, and suddenly I grabbed the guy I work with, and went, "Oh my god, that's the guy who plays Hannibal in the TV series." I was like, but he was like well gone at this point, and he was like, "What?" Not well gone. He probably did hear me say that, but like I was like, I can't go up to. I didn't. I was kind of just too tired to go up to him.
I would have lost my mind if I was that close to Mads Mikkelsen. I think he is so hot.
He literally just walked straight past me. And
oh my gosh!
It took me like a split second. I was like, oh my god, that's. Yeah, I was like, that's cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's only. But I think generally when I've seen celebrities, so it's been in London. So I mean, Windsor's outside London, but he must have been filming something to have been in Windsor.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen my fair share when I lived in LA.
Oh yeah, I imagine it. I imagine LA. It was like every bus stop. So, I used to. One of my neighbours. I honestly could not tell you. Oh crap! I do not remember this guy's name. I used to literally live down the road as he literally was my neighbour. I'll tell you what. He was in the same. I know he was in a Tom Hanks film.
There are quite a few of those.
No. It was a really weird Tom Hanks film. It was one where there was lots of time. Oh,
Cloud Atlas?
Cloud Atlas, yeah. Cloud Atlas. Yeah, here we go. David. I don't know how to say his name. Gyasi.
Gyasi?
Yeah. That guy.
Oh, okay.
Do you know him?
That face looks familiar. Yes.
I Oh, he was in one episode of the new Sandman TV series I've not watched. He's done like quite. He was in Carnival Row, the TV series on Amazon. He's had loads of bit parts. So I don't think he had. Have you seen Interstellar?
Yes.
He was the guy who went down to the planet or something and grew a beard and became really old.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, yeah. So I used to live down the same road as him for ages.
Okay.
And like we used to hang out and go swimming together. And I used to live opposite a leisure centre where there was a swimming pool and stuff like that in my old house. And it was but he was just like such a normal guy. Like we just like what I mean by that is for ages he didn't even tell me he was an actor. Like so he used to live like 4 or 5 doors down from me. We just chat in the street, just have a laugh. Like our kids would play in the street with each other. And I think I said one day to him, like, "What do you do for a living?" And he just really downplayed it. He's like, "Oh, I'm an actor." I went, "Oh, anything big?" He went, "No, not really." I went, "Okay." No, I never
What
really
a question mark.
like. Well, I kind of.
So, are you famous? Or
no, I just said like theatre or like do bigger stuff. And he's like, "Oh, nothing too big," and he just sort of played it down. So I never carried on asking him. And then so I never really pushed it. Didn't I just assumed it was just bit parts and something like that. And I guess most actors start by doing bit parts. And then I was in the street chatting to him one day. This woman runs up to him, literally in our road. Oh my god! Oh my god! I loved you in Cloud Atlas. And I was standing there like, is he a liar? Like, has he actually been in bigger things? Like, and I was like, I mean, not like a liar in a bad way. Like,
yeah.
I thought obviously because he was so down to earth. So I was like, I never even considered looking him up. So I went back in the house and I went onto IMDb. It was like, he's been in a lot of stuff actually. I didn't actually like. I just chat to this guy like he's my mate. Like, and well, I guess he still was my mate at the time. But like, but yeah. So I lived literally like 4 or 5 doors down from him, and yeah, he's a really nice guy. And but yeah, I found it so weird that I just chat to him normally, about crap like in the street, and this woman like pretty much like, "Oh my god, you're so amazing." I was like, I could never ever do that. See a celebrity and do that. So anyway, Quantumania trailer, we've deviated there so badly, but yeah, I mean, the trailer's not impressive in all honesty. I mean, visually impressive because obviously
visually
MCU.
Yeah, plus they go into the quantum realm, so that's always kind of fun. Yeah,
cool.
That looks really cool.
I like the fact that Michelle Pfeiffer looks like she's got a much bigger role.
Yes.
Because obviously in the first 2, she was barely in it. And then obviously had a tiny cameo in Endgame, which was even smaller than the other 2 cameos she got in the first 2. But I liked how they set that up for her to have a bigger role in the 3rd movie. So that was quite good plan in there. I'm assuming that this movie's got a much bigger story. Like, it's like going to be a stepping stone to later Avengers.
It's got to be a big one because it is what kicks off Phase 5.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, let's talk about Black Adam.
Black Adam.
So I
first of all, I cannot believe that we both went and saw a movie that was released this weekend. Like we are very like on top of it this time.
Oh, actually, we were going to do 30 Days of Night, but we both went and saw Black Adam, and we were both like, actually, should we just talk about Black Adam? So next week we'll do 30 Days of Night. Sorry, we lied to you.
We didn't mean to. It was unintentional. So our apologies.
Yeah.
It's coming. It'll be like a Halloween episode. We'll make it a whole thing. Don't worry.
Anyway, right. So no trivia this time, but I grabbed some facts about Black Adam because, to be honest with you, both of us don't really know a lot about Black Adam.
I don't think very many people do. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't think that is a very popular character.
That's why we haven't done any trivia, because we both have put our hands up and say we don't know a lot.
Don't know.
I mean, I know who played him in the movie.
Yeah, and I know he is a Shazam thingy with the things of the people.
Oh, the wizards.
The wizards, yes.
So here's my 5 facts I found online. I googled
Regale us.
I found them on a website called Culture Site, which I have heard of.
Okay.
Number 5, his first appearance was in 1945.
Oh, in that case, that means Hawkman is actually older than Black Adam, because Hawkman's first appearance was 1940.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that either. So Black Adam's first comic appearance was in the Marvel Family issue 1, which came out in December 1945, which was created by Bill Parker, C.C. Beck, and Jerry Ordway. So, number 4, which I guess this is kind of ish from that time. He was the son. Sorry, it's kind of, we kind of know that from the movie. I mean, around the time he was around, but in this fact here is he was the son of a pharaoh.
Oh, they changed that in the
Yeah, I mean
movie.
they had it set at the same time, but not, yeah. So this is what it says here. Black Adam was much like other superheroes, had his own origin revised several times since the original iteration in 1945. Dwayne Johnson's portrayal will align with the reconstruction of the character in the New 52. However, initially the character was the son of a pharaoh, Ramses II, commonly known as Ramses the Great. Pharaoh Ramses II is remembered for city and monument production, celebrating many festivals and allocating a new city capital and conquering. So yeah, they did change his background for the movie. So,
Yes, they gave him a fictional land called Kondak instead of Egypt. So,
number 3, he is an enemy of Shazam. I did know that.
yes.
Shazam and Black Adam are inherently adversarial. Despite being on opposite sides of the coin in terms of super beings they align themselves with, it goes away beyond that. Their disconnect is levels deeper from the perspective of some who once enslaved. Black Adam's divine gift gives him divine purpose. Shazam's power, combined with his youthful naivety, is an affront to the privilege of superior power. It is good and bad, but also life, perspective, and responsibility. There's a lot written there. Basically, Black Adam and Shazam are enemies. So there you go. His family was murdered is number 2, which
happens.
Pretty much.
It's a very typical like supervillain origin story. Also, very typical superhero origin story.
Yeah, it says every iteration of Black Adam sees him suffering through traumatic events in his life. I won't go on. Yeah, but actually, it says his wife and son, Iris and Aureus, respectively, were killed by the four horsemen of Apocalypse.
Interesting.
So they didn't obviously have that in the movie. Yeah, so I won't go on there. And number 1, he has the power of Egyptian deities.
That sounds a lot like Moon Knight.
So DC Comics Encyclopedia notes that the powers of Black Adam as coming from Shu, stamina, Hero, speed, Amon, strength, Zehut, wisdom, Aton, power, Mihen, courage, and it goes on and on and on. So yeah, there you go. I don't know. I guess learned something there that they I didn't know that they changed his origin for the movie. I had kind of accepted that origin on face value. I did know he was an enemy of Shazam, and obviously I didn't know he was the son of a pharaoh, and I had no idea that he was as old as he was, 1945.
Yeah, I didn't realize the character had been around that long. I think it would have been really interesting if they had kept it like as an Egyptian backstory, because I think that was one of the things I was thinking when I left the movie was like, I mean, yes, we have like Gotham and Metropolis, and they're not real cities, but they're, kind of based on real cities. And I was like, it would have been cool if DC had actually done something where it was like, this is, we don't have to be in a made up place like Kondak. We can be in a real place. But
DC do that a lot more. Marvel stick to real cities.
Real places.
Well, I mean, I know Atlantis isn't real, and,
or is it? You don't know that.
It's a fully functioning underwater city hidden away.
You don't know that.
I mean, I would love to find out if there was ever any truth in Atlantis, but yes. So anyway, do you want to do the names?
Yeah, I'll do the names this time around. All right, so Black Adam and other characters. It was based on the DC comics that were created by Otto Binder and C.C. Beck. This film was written by Adam Seitskal, Roy Haynes, and Saurabh Noshirvani. It was directed by Jaume Collet Serra. And it stars Dwayne Johnson, Aldous Hodge, Noah Centineo, Sarah Shahi, Marwan Kenzari, Quintessa Swindle, Bodai Sabongui. That's what I'm going with. Bodai Sabangui and Pierce Brosnan, who was actually really good. Really, really good. I don't know anything about Dr. Fate, but like, I just love Pierce Brosnan's persona in general.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he was good in this.
Yeah. So this film had a budget of 195 to 200 million. And so far, it has been less than a week at the time of this recording. So far, the film has already made 143 million worldwide. So pretty sure this one's going to make its money back pretty fast and then some.
So I don't know where you took the summary from. I'm assuming it's similar to where I got mine from last week. In 26,000 BC, 2600 BC, the king of Kanduk, Acton creates the crown of Sabak and gives the wearer great power. After attempting to stage a revolt, a young slave boy is given the powers of Shazam by the Council of Wizards, transforming him into Kanduk's heroic champion, who allegedly kills Acton and ends his reign. There you go. Hence why Jasmin is better with names. So yes, that summary was not from myself. It's from online, and but it's far better than the drivel that you get out of me most attempts at doing a summary. So, what are your summary of your thoughts on this movie?
Okay. By the way, we forgot to do the spoiler warning, but we are about to ruin this whole film. So if you have not watched Black Adam, please pause, stop this, save it for later, come back. But we're about to ruin this.
Unless you want to listen to spoilers.
I mean, if that's fine, if that's okay with you, that's obviously okay with us, because here we go. So I was extremely confused for most of this film because as much as I love The Rock, and I do love The Rock, he is not the kind of actor that can conceal his voice. Like, he always sounds like himself. No matter what he's doing, he always sounds like himself. So that scene on the mountain, when someone steps in to save the kid from being kicked off the mountain with the other guy.
Yeah,
as soon as he said something, I was like, that's The Rock. Like, what the hell? Like,
I didn't realize
why won't they show his face? I knew that. Like I said, like, I am a huge Rock fan. And as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, that's The Rock. So the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, but he was the older guy. Like, he wasn't the kid. He was the older guy. And it never clicked to me that maybe the kid gave him the powers until obviously they reveal that in the film. But it was just like, so I think that's part of the reason why I was so, I think like meh would be a good baseline for me as for where I feel with this film. But it was just, I couldn't figure out why they were trying to hide that, but they did it so poorly. And I mean, that's not like their fault, but like maybe not everybody is as obsessed with The Rock as I am. So maybe a lot of people didn't notice, but I think
that initial origin must have taken up like maybe like the first 15 minutes of the movie where they so I felt like there was a lot going on.
Yes.
So I just, to be honest with you, I was just trying to concentrate on what they were showing us, and I didn't really focus too much on the guy who pulled the child away. I just was trying to take in all of that beginning and trying to understand it, because I felt like I didn't know anything about Black Adam, and I was really trying to concentrate on the origin that they were showing, because I felt like as well they showed us this origin straight away. Like, it was kind of like a lot of information.
Yeah, it was a cold open, and I think that it was their only way to get you to understand how this character came to be.
I kind of always wondered, like, why on earth? I get why they did it, DC, but when I was watching it, I did think I'd rather this movie had just been called Justice Society, like, and downplayed The Rock a little bit. I don't know. Like, I like The Rock. You know, he seems like someone I'd love to have beers with. He can buy him. He's got the money. But
yeah, for sure.
And he has his own whiskey, doesn't he? Apparently, but I I never really got why they did a Black Adam movie. That was something I couldn't get my head around. Why have they done a villain movie? Although they made him more of an anti-hero than a villain.
Yeah.
So I kind of wondered why we had to have a Black Adam movie. Why couldn't we just have had a Justice Society movie with Black Adam in it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to be called Justice Society and Black Adam like they did with the Birds of Prey movie.
Oh yeah.
But I look, I've got no problem with what they've done. I just would love it if it does lead to a Justice Society movie on its own. So
yeah, I think I am all for villains. I love a good villain. But to me, he was not villainous enough. Like, and I get like the anti-hero thing for anti-hero instead of a villain. But like, I don't know. To me, the tone of the movie was just all over the place. Like the way that the film opened. I don't know if you've ever played the game, but the way that this film opened reminded me of God of War, the video game series.
I started one of the games.
Yeah, like with the way that Kratos loses his family and then is cursed and is his rage is what drives him to become this big badass that he ends up becoming. Yeah. So like the beginning of the film feels very much like God of War, and then the later parts of the film where Black Adam is interacting with Sarah Shahi's son Amon, that 100% reminds me of Terminator or Terminator 2 rather, and the way that Arnold interacts with Sarah Connor's son, like John Connor. And I'm just like, oh, God love you, DC, but like none of the stuff that you have done in here is original enough for me. Like it was just too reminiscent of so many other things. Like now I'm thinking about God of War, now I'm thinking about Terminator versus trying to actually pay attention to this film.
I didn't really think of anything like that when I was watching it. So my motivation of this was two things this weekend. Was firstly, I had a whole weekend just me and my wife, so it was nice to go and do something.
Oh, look, you guys got rid of the kids. Did you get rid of Cooper too?
No. Like, not many people want to take a dog for a weekend.
Oh, if I lived closer, I would totally dog sit. Cooper seems so fun.
Sometimes. Anyway, that was my first motivation. My second one was all of the beeps that were like happily trying to ruin the movie. Yeah. Like, so, and we'll talk about it. The main thing that people were trying to ruin was the people that show up that were not on the front cover of this.
That got ruined for me.
Yeah,
that got ruined for me 2 weeks ago.
No, so I saw a lot of posters. I saw a lot of headlines that alluded to it, but I didn't click on any of them. People, even if people just put like surprise cameo and didn't put, but a lot of people were putting surprise cameo with the picture of the person. I was like, it's not a surprise now.
Yeah.
So that was my other motivation of, yep, we're gonna go see Black Adam this weekend. Like, so I got to watch that before I actually do have it confirmed.
Yeah.
So anyway, summary of my thoughts on this movie. Yes, okay, I felt there was a lot of information at the beginning, and I felt like it was a very, very different type of movie for all of the other DC movies. I love the fact that they did tie this into the DCU with having Amanda Waller in it, having the cameo of the person we'll talk about in a minute, and
we even got some Peacemaker. One of the Peacemaker characters.
Yeah, we got one of the Peacemaker. Yeah, I noticed that one of the Peacemaker one of the girls from the Peacemaker TV series and the Suicide Squad movie. They also had one of the wizards in it from the Shazam movie. So what I loved about this movie was it was a DCU movie without it being a DCU movie. Like, you could have watched this movie without having watched the Suicide Squad or the Shazam or any of those films. And I know they obviously had Batman and Superman and all the posters and all the little winks and nods to the rest of the comic dropping on the floor with Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff. They had all those winks and nods, but you could have not watched any of those films and gone in and watched this and been completely fine.
Yeah.
So this actually is something I have to say did a good job of being a standalone movie, whilst also connected to a larger cinematic movie, which, you know, if you went and watched the first Ant-Man, which we talked about earlier, you could watch that as a standalone movie. You could watch pretty much, you know, most of the Captain Americas or Iron Man's, the first ones. Obviously, the later ones do tend to link more heavily. You know, the first Wonder Woman movie did a good job of standing alone. And I think this movie does a really good job of standing alone. I think that's probably that's something really good, because I think that concerns people about going into cinematic movies.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of memes of people, you know, it's 2047. To watch the latest MCU movie, I've had to watch 300 movies and 12 TV shows to understand this film. Like, and don't get me wrong, the more the DCU goes on, that might happen. But they did a good job with this movie, I think, in terms of making it.
I think this was a fantastic origin story, for sure.
Yeah, really good origin story.
Yeah.
Really, really good in terms of getting the audience to be able to watch it and understand it. I think, yes, okay, that beginning bit was a little bit confusing, but once you got past that origin story, actually, I think the rest of the movie was quite easy to follow.
Yeah.
I would say the negative for me was I didn't feel like we had a real villain until maybe the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a long build up to actually get to our villain. And actually, I have to say, there was a point where I didn't even think we were going to get a villain. I actually thought, so the bit when they send the Rock underwater to the water prison, when he gives up and says, yeah, okay, look, I'll go, you know.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's how it's going to end. I was like, oh, that feels a bit flat. Like, and
but there's a whole 30 minutes after that.
Yeah, there was like another 30 minutes, and that was that. And then when they started to head back, I was like, oh, okay, something's going to happen, and then they're going to need the Rock, right? Okay, well, so they're going to need Black Adam. So overall, though, I think as the movie ended, I think they did a real good sort of kind of journey with him to see his story with his father. His father.
No, with his son.
Oh, sorry, with his son. Sorry. You know, the whole. Sorry, go the other way around then. And with his son, with him, his resurrection 5,000 years later. And then kind of waking up and kind of not really giving a crap about anybody, to actually realizing that he is their protector, and he doesn't want to be their ruler. Like, and I love the fact that he smashes the throne down.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really know what the leadership structure of this country is going to look like, but I'm assuming he doesn't want to lead it. He just wants to be its protector.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think if there was a follow up, that it'll be more of a. I know we're going to talk about sequels in a minute, but I just would like to think that we'd see more of a normal political leadership involved, you know. You know, a democracy is the word. So
it feels like that these the people of Kondak have been like oppressed basically their entire existence, and to me it felt like they just wanted someone to stop that from happening. Like, I think that they are very capable of prospering themselves, but they just wanted invaders to stop coming into their land, and I think that Black Adam is more than capable of being that guy.
Oh yeah, no. So overall, though, I did enjoy the movie, and we'll break it down a bit in a minute. Break it down now as we go. So, favorite character?
So I have a person and then a non-person as favorites. So, don't make that face.
An actual rock, like the statue. Like the statue is your favorite character. That's so really my favorite not good
character was Dr. Fate. I really enjoyed Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. My favorite non-person was Aldous Hodge's thighs. They were the star of this movie. Just for anyone else that's listening, you're welcome. Just it was a treat.
I love how, like, if I sat here and said, "Oh, that female's arse or legs or like people would just jump all over. You'd see people like piling all over me. Like, if I say just said, "Oh yeah, that woman on that," I can't remember her name. The woman who played the Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Yeah. And then there was the girl, was the mum. Is it Sarah something?
Sarah Shahi.
Yeah. Who was brilliant in Person of Interest, by the way.
Yes.
And did you watch Person of Interest?
No, but I loved her in Barely Legal or Fairly Legal, sorry, on USA.
Oh, I've never seen that, but Person of Interest was amazing. Everybody should go watch that now.
Yeah.
So not now. I mean, listen to
But
us.
I mean, like in general, I really did like Aldous Hodge. Like when they first announced his casting as Hawkman, I was like, oh, this should be really interesting because Hawkman was never a character that I cared about. I was always a Hawk Girl fan. And so like I couldn't care less about Carter Hall, but he actually, I thought, gave a character that I never cared about before a little bit more personality this time around.
So I'm like, so my only real knowledge, I'm more of a Marvel person than a DC person. And whilst over the years, so I started reading comics when I was 14, 41 now. And
but who's counting?
Somebody is. So anyway, over the years I've mainly read Marvel, but I have dabbled in DC. But I've never, maybe I've read like one comic with Hawkman here or there. So my knowledge of Hawkman was more from the Arrowverse TV shows. So my origin apparently is completely made up for the Arrowverse TV shows and not the same as comics.
Yes.
However, I would say, yeah, I'm with you. I think Dr. Fate, and I'm not going to talk about his legs, but I also think Hawkman, they were like my favorite characters. I think their humor. I just Pierce Brosnan when he's like, I'm going to sit this one out, and like Hawkman and the Rock are like beating the crap out of each other, and he's like, yep, just sort of rubbing his helmet and looking around the room and just like just not bothered. And I just think he played it so well, Pierce Brosnan.
He did. He was so just like suave and smooth and just removed from the whole situation. Yeah,
so
like
sophisticated. Yeah.
It was very much like I'm not going to break a sweat. Like I'm going to help and I'm happy to help, but like I'm not about to put in as much effort as you guys are putting in. Like, I'm
going to ruin this now. So he dies in the movie, and I would like to think he's not dead because he's quite a big character. So I'd be annoyed if he actually was. So
I mean, he is, like I feel like that is a possibility given his ability to see the future. I think maybe if he saw a way to save Carter, he probably saw a way to save himself as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to come back. I would like to think this will lead to a separate Justice Society of America movie. So
that could be interesting. My question though is why do they answer to Amanda Waller?
I think that was just done to link to the MCU to the DCEU. I think that was done to that. Amanda Waller is probably the only real link. So
I mean
they could have probably had, I don't know, who would they else have had?
Well, I mean, like the Justice League kind of governs itself, so they don't really do much with other people. So I don't know. I just thought maybe I have missed something.
I know who they could have had. Crap, I can't remember his name. The guy who was the Martian Manhunter.
John Johns.
Yeah, no, but he was like a general in. They could have had him. That would have been, that would have been a good one.
I really want them to bring him back. That
would have made more sense.
Yeah, it would have actually.
That actually would have made more sense because Amanda Waller I've always linked with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I've always linked her with the bad guys, like the bad guys that do good things, but like I've never associated her with good guys that do good things.
That's what they should have done. They've missed a trick there. They should have had John Johns.
Plus, that would have linked everything back to Superman directly. So,
and also they should, to be honest with you, they should have just had John Johns bloody. I know he's a Justice League, but they could have had him doing the society stuff. I don't know, but no, I think he should have been on the screen, not Amanda Waller. But I was happy with Amanda Waller. Like, I think it was a good linkage. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Dr. Fate was one of my favorites, but Hawkman close second.
Yeah, I love the effects, like the CGI that came with Fate's powers. I thought that was super cool. The way that he had all those like gold prisms.
So so your next question is about where do you think a sequel could go? I really hope it doesn't. I don't know if I really want a sequel. Like, I'd be happy for him now being, like, if the next movie was, say, the Justice Society, him being in the team movie. I'm not too bothered about a sequel. Are you? There will be a sequel, obviously. Because
I think, there's gonna eventually be a sequel, but I think a sequel to this film is like 3 or 4 years down the line. I think we're gonna have to see what happens in Shazam, the second Shazam film, before we can have a better idea of where this film is gonna go. Because I don't think that you can keep those two too far from each other. Like, I don't think that you can let them get too far away from each other, since they share the same like origin, essentially. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see where Shazam goes, and then from there, I think it'll be a little bit more clear. Because like right now, the way that this film kind of ended, it's just like everything is up in the air. So, I mean, you could literally build 50 different sequels based on that ending. So I have no idea. I have no idea where they're going to take it or what comes next. But I think Shazam is going to give us a much clearer picture of what comes next for Black Adam.
Yeah, what I hope is that this isn't the next movie isn't Black Adam versus.
Yes, we
Yeah.
if so that big spoiler that we keep dancing around. If DC is really going to get behind Henry Cavill as their Superman, Superman needs another standalone film. Superman does not need to share top billing with anyone else. And this is, I'm saying this as someone who is not even a fan of the character Superman. Like, I love Henry Cavill, but I'm not a Superman fan. But I think Superman at this point, given all of the drama that the DCEU has had, Superman has got to be the anchor for this universe. He has to be, because you don't have any other characters that are strong enough to do it. And like, you have let Batman run rampant. We've got 50 bajillion iterations of Batman. Nobody knows which Batman is which. The person that you have playing Flash is batshit crazy. So who knows how long that's gonna last? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make a joke. But you know what I mean? Like, you guys completely destroyed Wonder Woman in that 1984 movie. That was awful. God. That was an abomination. There's no other way to describe it. Happened. Right? Like, you have no other characters to anchor the universe that you were trying to build. So if you don't put your money and your effort into making another standalone Superman film, then none of this is ever going to be cohesive. Superman has got to stop sharing equal time with everyone else and give the character its due.
So basically, like, we were going to talk about it in a minute, but mid-credit sequence, Henry Cavill shows up. It was brilliant, absolutely. Oh, it's so good. I would have to say it might have even been the best scene of the whole movie. But it was done so well. Like, Amanda Waller gives her warning to Black Adam. He's like, yeah, come on then, bring it.
Yeah.
And then Henry Cavill just shows up as
he's like, yo, man,
they did it so well. They did it so well. Like, this cloud smoke stuff. All, he lands, blows smoke up in the air, and you just see him walk out. And he's like, yeah, we need to chat. And obviously then the titles carry on going. And honestly, when it happened, there's hairs on the back of my neck. I was like, yes. I was like, he's back. I was like, yes, finally. I was like, DC, stop messing around and actually just own the fact that you have a Superman. You have a good actor playing Superman. Whatever your beef was, just suck it up.
When they first built this DCEU and they announced Henry Cavill as Clark Kent, I was like, that is as near to perfect casting as you could possibly get in this day and age. Like, in this current time, like, there is no one more perfect to play this character than Henry Cavill. Don't waste it.
I think Tyler, what's his name in the TV series, plays Superman well.
I like Tyler, but I think Henry is much more charming.
Henry's much better, but Tyler does play it well.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from Tyler, because I did doubt Tyler initially. And then when I saw Tyler, especially in his own show, he plays Superman very well. He's a good TV Superman. Henry Cavill is definitely a good movie Superman.
Yes.
And when he comes out and he's like, then I thought, if we hear that the sequel to this is Black Adam versus Superman, I am going to be fuming.
Yeah.
I do not want Black Adam versus Superman. I don't care about those.
Not yet. I think eventually we could get to that point, but that does not need to happen in the next 5 years. We need at least 2 more films before we get to that point. There's not enough tension yet.
I think we need to see Man of Steel 2 and Man of Steel 3. Let him actually just and please recast Jesse Eisenberg. So if you get a much better Lex Luthor in, and have some good Superman movies. I'd even like to see a Justice League movie with Superman in, you know, an actual follow-on for the Zack Snyder movie. Being that Joss Whedon one, just delete the file for that, and like actually just have some good Henry Cavill movies, and then maybe even Black Adam versus Superman could be part of a Justice League movie or something like that. You know, like a bit like we had with Avengers. Maybe you know something big happens. I don't know. I don't care about Black Adam versus Superman. Like, it doesn't interest me. I know it
it's
interests.
too soon. It's too soon. I think like The Rock has been very vocal about the DCEU needing a character like Superman, needing Superman to be part of the DCEU. So I think that he's been behind the scenes. I think Dwayne Johnson has been a big push to bring Henry Cavill back into the fold. But I think it would be a mistake to have that showdown this soon.
I just want Henry Cavill to go and do his own thing as Superman, part of the shared universe. You know, have Martian Manhunter show up and have Batman make a cameo or whatever. You know, you could just call.
Do you remember that animated movie that we watched, the Superman Man of Tomorrow or Man of
Yeah.
That was a perfect team up. Like we could totally have a Superman and John's buddy cop film. Like that could be a lot of fun.
Okay, so thoughts on the structure. We've kind of talked about the structure a little bit as we've been going. I personally think it was a bit too long.
It did feel a bit long.
Yeah, I think they could have. I don't know what you could have cut out, in all honesty, but I think maybe they could have trimmed some fat around it. But other than that, I do think it was done quite well, in all honesty. It was just probably a bit too long. They could have maybe taken out a couple of scenes here and there. And like I say, I think they did well in terms of how they handled it as a DCU movie and standalone. And I think the special effects were spot on.
I would disagree with that part.
I think threw a good
some of that CGI was sketchy.
Well, I think The Rock made him like the opposite of Captain America. I thought was weird. Like when they made The Rock look puny when he.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looked a bit weird, and it's like the opposite Captain America, wasn't it? You know, like
it was like Cap before he became Cap.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like the CGI. I actually, do you know, I think as well the acting was really good.
Yeah, like the dynamic between everyone was really nice. Like it was not awkward or contentious. Well, I mean, it was obviously contentious between Black Adam and Hawkman, but the Justice Society, like they were, especially the new kids, like Cyclone and Atom Smasher, like they were new and very green, but like they still got in there and did what they had to do. It was not like there was nobody was being coddled or babied or anything like that. Like they got thrown into the action just like everybody else.
I think the humor was done well. Like it wasn't, you know, like with Joss Whedon, it's like humor every 5 words.
Well, but the way that Joss Whedon does humor is to beat you over the head with it, and like this guy didn't do that. There's no need to do that. Like you can have subtle comments. Like one of the threads that I loved throughout this whole film was I'm on trying to get Black Adam to have a catchphrase, and every time he tried to do it, he did it very wrong. Like, I just love that. I love that. And then of course, like at the very end, he gets it right. But like that was really funny to me. Like it's like one of my favorite tropes is people out of place in a certain time. Like clearly he did not understand humor, hurt heuristics, or anything like that. So like trying to appease this kid and like he just kept doing it wrong over and over again, but he kept trying. And I really love that.
I liked Hawkman and Atom Smasher. Like he's like, me and you, kid. Me and you. Yeah, me and you. Like, and I love how Atom Smasher puts his hand up. He's like, "Oh, I almost hit you," and then as he knocks Hawkman out of the sky. I think there was some humor was used very well in this, but I like that it was done sporadically and, like you say, not smashing you over the head with it. It was done well enough that it could almost be like normal life, you know, where people make jokes in real life and then carry on being normal. It was, I think Joss Whedon, it's like, I always remember with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I think he was quite involved in early Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's just like things like, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think now, but there was such stupid one-liners. Like I really hated how they ruined Agent Coulson quite early on with just making him like a constant one-liner guy. And I was like, why are they doing this? Like, it's annoying me. Like,
no, I thought that they handled it well here. It was subtle a lot of times. And Dr. Fate to me was the funniest character in this film.
Oh yeah, like he wasn't even trying.
Oh my God. And I think that's like part of like the British charm, right? Like he just has that stoic face. Like he doesn't even have to crack a smile after he makes a joke, and it still lands just right.
Like me.
Well, okay. I mean, sure.
Anyway, so we kind of alluded to it as we've been going, but how do you feel it compares to other DCU movies?
Better than what we've gotten lately.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean,
no. The last one was the Suicide Squad, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, that one was.
Yeah, that was good.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, that one was good.
This one was not quite as entertaining as that one, but I think this type of film is definitely more like in the normal speed of, because the Suicide Squad, I think, is the exception, right? I don't think that the entire DCEU can carry like they did with Suicide Squad or like Harley Quinn. I think that those, you have established that these characters are the out there characters. Like they're the fringe characters that get the exceptions and they get, you know, those R ratings and that kind of thing. So I think this film is definitely more in line with the way that the rest of the films should be looking to do.
Yeah.
But also I heard that this film originally had an R rating, and so they had to do a lot of editing to get it down to a PG-13.
Yeah, that would have been a good move to make this an R-rated film.
No.
I mean, the movie I went to, I think, did have mainly adults in, but kids are going to want to see this too.
Of course, like they definitely tamped down the violence. They said that in the original like cut, it was very almost like John Wick was what they described it as, and I was like, this DCEU, no, like if you're gonna do that type of violence, that has got to stick with like HBO and Peacemaker. Like that's where that kind of stuff belongs. It doesn't belong in your blockbuster slate.
Yeah, I love Peacemaker. Anyway, I think in terms of how I'd feel about this movie, it's in line with movies like Man of Steel, the original Wonder Woman, the latest Suicide Squad movie. It's in that world of what I would say is the good DCEU movies. It's not in line with the Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman 1984. Those are the terrible ones.
Birds of Prey was not terrible. I loved Birds of Prey. Wonder Woman 1984 was absolutely garbage.
Oh, yeah, 84 was garbage. The original Suicide Squad was garbage. 984 was probably actually the worst one.
I think so.
Yeah,
and it broke my heart that they ruined that, because the first one was so good. The first Wonder Woman film was so good.
They didn't need to make that film. So, well, I mean, they could have made it, but just done a lot of other things with it. Anyway,
did you have any favorite scenes?
I mean, Henry Cavill showing up was definitely my favorite of the whole movie.
Okay,
but I like, obviously I don't think that's particularly fair, because obviously it's a Black Adam movie. Do you know, there's one moment. No, there's two moments of Black Adam that are jumping out at me. One is where he throws one of the bad guys and he lands on the other side of the like the desert, and he's like, oh, like, and Dr. Fate says something like, "I'll bring him back to me. I'll break his mind." And then you just see him glance over and you see the body fall, and he turns around and he goes, "He didn't survive." And you could see him for a split second. To be honest, he could have saved him.
He could have. He could have flown over there and caught him.
Yeah, he could have done, but he was like, nah. But I love the dry wit from Dwayne Johnson. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And then the other scene I love is where he takes the two bad guys up in the air and says,
"Yes,
whoever answers the question gets to live," basically. Like, and you know, the other guy's like, I don't know. He just drops him. And then when he comes back in, he's explaining his actions to Hawkman. He's like, "Look, I knew you were coming. I knew you'd save him. What's the problem?"
Yeah, I did it your way.
I did it. Yeah, I did it your way. He was just like, he was very honest.
Yeah.
I do think that Dwayne Johnson's acting has definitely improved over the years. So I know he goes with more the action Joker guy, but this actually was a lot more toned down, which I thought was quite good. So,
I disagree on that part.
No, like have you not seen the Fast and Furious movies where he's just a joke a minute? Like,
yeah, but also like, have you seen his earlier stuff, like The Rundown? Like, The
I haven't seen
Rock
The
is
Rundown.
comedy gold. I think you lose something when you cast him and you don't give him the opportunity to be funny. He is so funny. And so like
I think it's funny. What I'm saying is in this movie, I think it was toned down a lot, which I think was good for this character.
Oh, well, for the character, but I think it was but I think because like he's so much better on the other end of the spectrum that it just like it fell a bit flat. Like the character himself feels like he doesn't have too much personality. I mean, but I guess that's the point too.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite scene?
I liked the scene where the kid is like following him on the skateboard and coaching him through how to like kill the bad guys and what to say to them when they die. No, you got to say the catchphrase before you kill them. He's like, okay, catchphrase and then kill. And the kid is like, yes.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that catchphrase then kill. Yeah. So I'm curious now because we didn't discuss this pre-show, which sometimes we do. How would you rate it out of 5?
This one I'm gonna go 3.
I'm gonna go 4 out of 5.
All right.
I didn't really enjoy this movie. I wouldn't rush to rewatch it, but like I would rewatch this film.
Yeah.
Like 1984, I would not rewatch at all.
Mm-mm.
Man of Steel, I would rewatch a lot. I thought Man of Steel was really good. I would watch Zack Snyder's Justice League again.
I would. It's 4 hours.
Not in one sitting. Like, I'd watch it over 2 days, and I would rewatch the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
I would not rewatch the original Suicide Squad. No. Well, no, I mean maybe like if I just wanted to watch something crap. But this is a movie I would rewatch. Oh, I think actually I forgot to say Shazam is in the top movies of DC.
Yeah, the first Shazam is really good.
Yeah. So I think that's good. They showed a trailer for the new one at the cinema as well, which I had seen already, but I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah,
I am looking forward to watching the Flash movie to see where it sits. And then I'm hoping
I used to be so excited about the Flash movie, and then it has just I don't even know what to say about.
I know, I don't know. Like, I hope by the time it comes out they've sorted it out. Ezra Miller, they need to do something. Yeah. I mean, look, Spider-Man No Way Home, they brought in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Let's be honest, if Tom Holland had to disappear, they could just bring one of those in now. What I was going to say is with the Flash, maybe they should just.
You could call Grant Gustin, like you.
Yeah, just say
you literally could call him. Like at the end of Flashpoint, if Ezra Miller's Flash goes and winds up in like another universe or multiverse, and then we end up switching, and then we get Grant Gustin. Yeah, no, nobody would be upset about that.
I think people will actually be happy now.
Yeah, nobody would be upset about that.
People will get it, and I'm sure Grant Gustin will be happy too.
Just an FYI, DC, since you guys seem to be fucking everything up behind the scenes, like.
Well, no, they might be okay now. I think I've got my faith has been restored with Black Adam. I just want to see if they can follow through now.
Yeah. Don't rush it. Don't rush us to that big showdown between Black Adam and Superman just yet. Let us have some build up, DC.
That's my fear. That is my fear.
Yeah, gotta have some build up. You can't put just like with the Godzilla MonsterVerse, like. We didn't get Godzilla versus Kong in the first film. That was the third film. Yeah. We need the build up to the big battle. Like you can't just give us the big guys at the very beginning.
I am worried that they're going to F this up, but Black Adam was a good movie. I just hope that they have a good follow through. So at the moment, Black Adam's 4 out of 5. If they go and F it up, I'll go change that score. But anyway, next episode we are going to review 30 Days of Night. Don't worry.
We got you covered for Halloween.
Yeah, and you can follow us on social media, Geeks and Niches on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Google, Podbean, Apple, Spotify. We are everywhere. So please give us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
And tell them the Men in Black sent you.
Yes. Oh, touche. Good journey.
Bye. Oh.